There's a storytelling tool that has been around for a long, long time, and which continues to be used to this day. Aristotle called this tool anagnorisis. We might call it more simply the big reveal. Maybe the most famous ancient example of anagnorisis is from Oedipus Rex by Sophocles. Gosh, I haven't read that in a really long time, but I bet you at least know the big reveal of that old story. Oedipus is in love, and his lover is actually already married, so he kills the lover's husband so that he can marry the girl. And then the big reveal happens. The man who Oedipus kills was his father, which makes the woman which he killed him for his mother. The anagnorisis in Oedipus Rex is shocking, and it's set 1,000 stories to sail in its wake. In modern days, maybe the most famous example of anagnorisis is what happened in the second movie of the Star Wars franchise, when Darth Vader is fighting Luke Skywalker, and it is revealed for the first time that Darth Vader is Luke's father. The phrase, "Luke, I am your father," has become a part of our culture, even though those exact words aren't in the movie. They aren't in the script. Go back and watch it for yourself. Vader never says, "Luke, I am your father." But the big reveal is so shocking, it's as if it's tricked our minds into thinking that he said it like that. Another great modern example is from perhaps the greatest artist who has ever mastered anagnorisis, M. Night Shyamalan. His movies always have a huge big reveal, which is meant to absolutely shock the audience, with the most shocking of them all probably coming from the movie The Sixth Sense. Now, the movie was made in 1999, so if you haven't seen it by now, I'm sorry, but the statute of limitations is up on me being able to talk about it. At the end of the movie, we come to learn that the main character of the film, played by Bruce Willis, is dead and has been dead for the whole movie. Every conversation and interaction he had with the other living characters in the movie were, after close and secondary inspection, all one-sided because he's been dead for the whole thing. I'll call these two examples of the strong form of anagnorisis, because we, the audience, are let in on the ruse at the same time as Luke Skywalker and Bruce Willis are. We've been in the dark, and therefore we're all shocked. We get to experience the same disorientation that they do. There is what I'll call a weaker form, though, where there's a reveal, but we've known all along that it's coming. One example that comes to mind quickly to me is Mrs. Doubtfire. Robin Williams plays a man whose life is erratic and unstructured and who suffers through a painful divorce because of that. His ex-wife doesn't see him as capable of being a good influence on their 3 children, so she decides, with the support of the court, to not allow him to watch their children while she's at work, but instead to hire a nanny. So Robin Williams's character swings into action, and with the help of his theatrical brother, turns himself into a perfect replica of an English nanny, Mrs. Doubtfire. He, or she, fools almost everyone until the big reveal happens at a fancy birthday dinner, when his disguise fails and his youngest child, his ex-wife, her boyfriend, and his boss end up seeing Mrs. Doubtfire's true identity. I'm going to call this the weaker form of anagnorisis because while the reveal is both delightful and kind of sad to witness, it's not a surprise to us. We, the audience, have been let in on the secret the whole time.
The whole time you would... The whole time!
This form isn't bad or worse. It's a great movie. It's one of the Morley family favorites, but we don't get the same shock that comes with Star Wars or The Sixth Sense. It's this weaker form that we also find in the story of Joseph. When Joseph's brothers come to him, the brothers are clueless as to who he is, but we are in on the secret. So when Joseph finally reveals his identity, we don't share in the same shock that the brothers feel. And obviously that's fine, perfectly fine. But can you imagine if the story was told differently? What if the brothers beat him up, threw him down the cistern, and sold him off to be a slave, but then the story left Joseph and instead stayed with the brothers? What if we got to see how they fared for a few decades? What if we saw them grow from terrible human beings into reasonably good men until a great famine arose and they headed out to Egypt, which was the only place around that had food, and they encountered an angry Egyptian ruler who thought them to be spies, who jailed one of the brothers until they brought Benjamin to Egypt? What if we got to experience the same level of confusion about the money that returned to Canaan with them, the money that was supposed to pay for the food they brought back? What if we got to worry over their desperate trip back to Egypt with Benjamin, only to see the Egyptian ruler's cup end up in Benjamin's sack and Benjamin threatened with jail or worse? What if we got to experience the big reveal of the Egyptian ruler's identity along with the brothers? Now that would make for a fascinating story to be told around the fire for 1,000 years before it was written down. Can't you hear the squeals of excitement, shock, and disbelief? Judah, I am your brother. This is all total conjecture and totally on my part, but it makes me wonder if when the story of Joseph was only an oral tale, if there wasn't another version of this tale where the stronger form of ananeresis was employed. That version could still have kept all the other details. The newly revealed Joseph could have told the brothers about Potiphar's house, about jail, about Pharaoh's dreams, and about how he came to be in charge of a country. The story could also have served as the bridge we needed to get Israel to Egypt. Who knows? One more thing, though. Ananeresis has a function beyond simple shock and awe. Ananeresis always reveals not just the identity of a person, but also the character flaws of the people who were being shocked by the big reveal. Oedipus was shown to be not just a king, but also a murderer guilty of patricide and incest. Luke was shown to be not as in touch with his feelings as a Jedi should have been, and a little too easily distracted. Robin Williams' ex-wife had for years missed the fact that Robin Williams' character had it fully within his capabilities to be an incredible parent and carer of children. She just missed it. As Joseph's true identity is revealed to his brothers, they stare into the face of the man they almost killed and sold for a few pieces of silver. And they stared into the fact that they were capable of such crimes. And as such, the use of ananeresis here is meant to be a mirror held up to our own faces, asking, who are we? What are we capable of? And when the chips are down, what kind of people will we choose to be?